Beware of generous clients. They stole more than my talent. I should have trusted my instincts. The deal was too good to be true, and deep down, I knew it. But greed has a way of making you ignore the warning bells. I thought I was going for a simple, high-paying job. I never expected to come back a hollow shell of who I once was. I was a hairstylist with a decent following online. My work had been featured on a few beauty blogs, and word of mouth kept me busy. One evening, I received an email from a woman named Celeste. She claimed she and her sisters were hosting an exclusive event in a secluded estate and wanted to book me for hairstyling. There was just one catch. There were only 3 clients, but they would pay for 5 in advance. The money wired into my account the next morning was double my usual rate, plus additional funds for transportation. I hesitated for a moment. Traveling alone to an unfamiliar location didn't sit right with me, but the amount was life-changing. I ignored the unease in my gut and packed my kit. The estate was nestled deep in the woods, an old Gothic mansion that loomed over the land like something out of a nightmare. As I arrived, the air felt thick, charged with something I couldn't name. Celeste and her 2 sisters greeted me at the door. They were beautiful, almost unnaturally so. Their skin was flawless, their eyes hypnotic. They moved with a grace that felt rehearsed, like they were in perfect sync. They were warm, overly generous, offering me food, drinks, anything I needed before I even set up my tools. "You're an artist," Celeste said as I unpacked, "and your talent is rare." Something in the way she said it sent a shiver down my spine. The first sister sat in my chair. Her hair was long and silky, though I noticed it seemed almost too perfect, like a wig that had been seamlessly blended into her scalp. As I worked, she studied me in the mirror, her eyes never leaving mine. "You have gifted hands," she murmured. "Such precision. It's almost a shame." I didn't ask what she meant. The second sister was eerily silent, barely blinking as I styled her. It felt like she was waiting for something. By the time I got to Celeste, the atmosphere had shifted. The air was heavier, the dim candlelight flickering in an unseen draft. My hands trembled as I picked up my tools. Celeste smiled at me through the mirror. "I must ask you a favor." The room grew deathly silent. "A favor?" I repeated. "We need something from you." I tried to keep my voice steady. "What?" Celeste turned in the chair to face me directly. The other sisters rose from their seats, surrounding me. "We need your hands." My breath caught in my throat. "Excuse me." "The hands of an artist hold power," she whispered. "A gift. A life force. We need yours." I laughed nervously. That's not funny. But they weren't laughing. I backed away, my pulse hammering in my ears. "I think I should leave." The door slammed shut behind me. The candles flickered violently, and the sisters' eyes darkened, like ink bleeding into their irises. "You can't leave," Celeste cooed. "Not yet." The sisters advanced, their bodies moving unnaturally, like puppets with invisible strings. A low hum filled the room, a sound that rattled in my bones. Then Celeste reached for my wrist. Pain, white-hot and searing, like something was being drained from my body. I screamed, yanking my arm free, knocking over my kit in the process. Scissors, combs, clips, everything scattered across the floor. I ran. I didn't care where, just away, down the long, endless hallways of the mansion that seemed to twist and change behind me. My body felt sluggish, weak, like something vital had been ripped from me. I don't know how I made it outside, but I did. The moment I crossed the threshold, the air felt lighter. The mansion behind me was dark, silent, as if it had never been inhabited at all. I made it home, but I wasn't the same. My hands, they didn't feel like mine anymore. My one steady grip was gone. I couldn't hold a brush without trembling. My work, my talent was fading. And no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't get it back. Clients stopped booking me. My reputation crumbled. It was as if my gift had been stolen, sucked from my veins the moment Celeste touched me. One night, desperate, I searched for Celeste online. But there was nothing. No records. No emails. The money they paid me had vanished from my account, like it had never been there. Only my ruined hands remained. And in the mirror, sometimes late at night, I see them. 3 figures. Watching. Smiling. Waiting for me to return. I should have trusted my instincts. But now, it's too late. I was hired to decorate a wedding venue. The couple didn't exist. When I got the email about a last-minute wedding setup gig, I almost turned it down. But the pay was ridiculous. $3,000 for one night of work. The client was oddly specific. The decor had to be perfect, every detail just right. But when I arrived at the venue, I realized something was very, very wrong. There was no couple, no guests, just me, alone, in an abandoned building. My name is Anna, and I've been working as an event decorator for 5 years. Weddings, birthdays, corporate events, I've done it all. Business had been slow, though, and bills were piling up. So when I received an email from Carter and Evelyn offering $3,000 for an emergency wedding setup, I didn't hesitate. The instructions were detailed. Set up the tables with ivory linens, place white roses at every seat, and ensure the candles were lit at exactly midnight. I thought the time was weird, but I chalked it up to some rich couple wanting a dramatic ceremony. The location was an old estate on the edge of town. I arrived at sunset, pulling up to a crumbling mansion that looked abandoned. My gut told me to leave. I should have listened. Inside, the house was eerily beautiful, like it had been frozen in time. Dust coated the chandeliers. The wallpaper was peeling, but the dining hall was pristine, as if someone had been preparing for this night for years. As I started setting up, I noticed something strange. Old wedding photos on the walls. Every couple looked the same groom, the same bride. The dates on the photos spanned decades, yet their faces never changed. I tried to ignore it. I placed the candles, arranged the chairs, and set the table just as instructed. At 11:55 p.m., I stood back, admiring my work. Then I heard footsteps above me. My heart pounded. "Hello," I called, expecting one of the staff. Silence. Then, the grand doors at the end of the hall creaked open. A cold gust of air rushed in, snuffing out the candles. My phone vibrated in my pocket. A new message. "They're here." I turned toward the doorway, and my breath caught in my throat. A bride and groom stood there, pale, expressionless, wearing the same clothes as the couple in the photos. "You did well," the bride whispered. Her voice was like wind through dead leaves. "You brought us back." The room darkened. Shadows stretched across the walls. I stumbled backward, knocking over a chair. When I looked up again, they were gone. The air grew heavy, pressing against my chest. The walls groaned as if the house itself was breathing. My phone vibrated again. Another message. "Run." The floorboards beneath me creaked. A shadow moved. Something was crawling toward me from under the table. A shape, a figure, stretching unnaturally long. Whispering my name. I grabbed my bag and bolted. The front door slammed shut as I reached it. I pounded against the wood, screaming, but the house swallowed the sound. In the reflection of the glass, I saw them standing behind me. "You decorated our wedding," the groom murmured. "Now stay for the reception." I don't remember how I got out. One moment I was in that house, the next I was in my car, speeding away. The mansion stood silent in my rearview mirror. The next day, I checked my bank account. The money was there, but when I searched for the venue online, it didn't exist. No records, no history. The address led to an empty field. That night, another email arrived. "Thank you for your service. We'll see you at the next wedding." I deleted it, blocked the sender. But somehow, every night at midnight, a new email appears. Same message, same names, same invitation.